If I sell anything, I pay my taxes. There's no question.
For us, it's been 20 years of planning, and we're still not completely through the whole estate planning process.
And then the obvious ones are, the income taxes, right?
The estate tax, you're right, is devastating. And while a lot of people think you can plan around it, there's only so much planning you can do, right? At the end of the day, you have to basically give it up.
It's devastating. It's absolutely devastating. I don't know how family businesses could continue to run in America because it feels so heavily weighted toward corporate.
In 1966, our founder passed away. Unfortunately, he hadn't prepared at all. We were really on the brink of needing to sell the business. The estate tax is the death knell for family businesses because at some point, it makes a lot more sense to sell it than it does to keep it going.
If something were to happen to me, it would be a significant issue, and you obviously try to plan for that, but big corporations don't have to worry about that. If their CEO unfortunately passes away, it doesn't really affect, create a tax event like it does in a family company.
There's huge taxes due on my death or Henry's death, and our money is invested in the company.
It's very simple. It would be catastrophic. And quite simply, how does one perfectly plan for an event such as death, where timing is uncertain?
I feel like they're completely unfair and favor corporations over people, corporations over families, corporations over what America was built on. And that feels like an easy grab when somebody dies. But I wish there was this understanding of unintended consequences in that family businesses can't figure out how to make it through this. And it's very difficult. And so we're sincerely corporatizing America and creating these kind of vessel entities that are businesses, as opposed to these family-run companies that have values that have the weight of their ancestors on them and the weight of their children and grandchildren. And I think people behave very differently when they have the weight of that many others on them.
So it's all this thing around a death in a family at the worst moment in time, attempting to extract out of a system that has nothing to extract. So all of a sudden this moment in time comes and the government says, give me 40% of all your equity or your value of your inventory. It falls on the family. The family inherits 100% of the problem, but has no percentage of control. We're facing a death tax. There's thousands of us out there that are vested in employees, vested in our community, and just want it to continue. We just don't want to tax at a death.
Tax. Are you a pass-through organization? Are you a C Corp or an S Corp or an LLP? How do you operate?
We're a sub S, so we did not benefit substantially from the Trump tax reduction on C Corps.
So to your point, the Trump tax bill, it only helped 21% of the businesses, and they are the C Corp businesses and the larger, non-family business owners in many cases.
Growth. Well, the 1031 exchange, as you're growing, you've got a small facility, you outgrow it, now you need a bigger facility. Well, that 1031 exchange was crucial. And when there's this talk of doing away with 1031, that would have crippled me because it would have taken the cash out of the business and out of me being able to employ people and having to put it into the real estate. The way that 1031, I didn't have to do the taxes. I was be able to roll it, and I was able to put that savings of excess capital back into the business to expand it to new facilities and employ more people.
I think that if you're in business, you're in politics, whether you want to be or not. So you might as well get active and get engaged. We certainly know our local politicians, our state politicians, and our national politicians, and make an effort to stay in touch with them. So how does that affect us? We do a lot of buying and selling, and there's a law called the 1031 exchange, which allows us to continue to roll our capital forward before it gets taxed. The government has made many ventures to wipe that out. And there's a lot of great information that says, hey, hold on a second, government. You actually make a lot more money by us rolling forward than by you taking it and using it for the various programs that you think are necessary.
It takes a lot of effort, a lot of money on our part, because we aren't a large organization, to comply with what we need to comply with. And then when they keep changing the rules, and it's very difficult for us to continue to engage the lawyers and the accountants and everybody we need. And that's taking money out of our operation that could be, if we didn't have to do this on a continual basis, it would be in our company for operations, generating income so we can continue to hopefully increase our charitable contributions and increase our operations and engage more vendors and spread the wealth.
No entrepreneur goes about it alone. It's with a team, it's with people, and we always must be attracting, retaining, and rewarding our people. The elimination of the step up in basis fundamentally is a game changer that threatens the uniqueness of private multi-generational family businesses. And for most entrepreneurs, at least most entrepreneurs I know, there's nothing more satisfying than building something of value and a community of value that ultimately continues in your absence. And for that matter, building something conceptually that you're able to pass to the next generation.
We kind of get vilified along with the Fortune 100, companies. We get sort of by the press and possibly the policymakers, we kind of get lumped into that same class as wealthy business owners that are just extracting wealth, and we need to put a stop to that. And the fact of the matter is we're diligently working in our businesses and taking care of those people that work for us. And a lot of times they're like family to us.
From a tax policy standpoint, there were some things that have been really, really great, over the past few years. One is, being able to fully depreciate new purchases. And we know that that's going away, but that really helps us when it comes time to make those purchases, to be able to get the full benefit of the depreciation.
In individual income taxes, a lot of people or might have heard the term pass-through entities, but a lot of people don't really understand what that means. So anytime that you affect those income taxes, our business is a pass-through entity. It's really just taking money from the company that we could be reinvesting in our equipment and our people, and sending it to Washington. So that income tax is a big consideration. And then lastly, I would say estate taxes. If something were to happen to me, it would be a significant issue, and you obviously try to plan for that, but big corporations don't have to worry about that. If their CEO unfortunately passes away, it doesn't really affect, create a tax event like it does in a family company.
Definitely want to share this video with members of Congress, because I think they will finally get to hear someone that really understands and really has lived what they haven't lived in many cases. And I think they'll really appreciate your vision and your opinion on all these topics. So once again, thank you for joining me today.